We are talking about economic policy that is designed to favor the super ultra rich and the big corporates, and it is doing that by cutting costs in the social sector, by calling any kind of spending in the social sector welfare spending as reveries or freebies, and it is in a very methodical way. By using the media and all of that, it is ensuring that we do not look at the ultra rich, that we do not look at the real divide between the 1% and the rest, but we talk about other kinds of divisions, be it Hindu, Muslim and others. There was a sense that was being felt for some time, that over the last few years there has been an erosion of the very question of or notion of accountability, which is something that is extremely crucial for any democracy, the notion of accountability itself. So promises being made and promises being broken is not new in a democracy, but promises being made and then forgotten, and then goalposts being shifted completely, this doesn't fare good for any healthy democracy. One of the issues we all would remember around 2012-13 was a major issue of NPAs, that the non-performing assets of the banks are increasing, and it increased to an extent that it destabilized the banking sector and the economy at large. Gross NPAs have in fact increased. If one looks at the 2014-15 level, it has increased 1.6 times, more than almost like 1.6 times, which brings it to about 54 lakh crores. Now, if that is what we are talking in terms of gross NPAs, the claims of the government in the successive two terms that there have been a banking miracle that has been accomplished and the NPAs have gone away. But where did they go away? Now there the thing is that the magic wand behind this banking miracle was immense and humongous amounts of write-offs. The ones who are losing out for these write-offs, for these major big corporate defaulters, who is losing out? It is people like common people, it's people like you and me. It is, say for instance, when the banks are having to make such heavy adjustments in its profits to make provisions for the write-offs that it is making, it is not being able to give credits to the MSMEs. It is not being able to give credits to the priority sector. Who are bearing the costs of it? Depositors are earning less interest rates now compared to before. Banks are having to even reduce their overhead costs by doing what? By doing layoffs and other kinds of things. If they have to lay off employees, it is the common people who have to stand for longer queues in the banks. So ultimately, the ones who suffer are the common people.
See, in the year 2016, this government said that we are going to bring on policy through an act in the parliament to see that the non-performing asset issues are addressed. When the bill was passed, the Prime Minister announced that this is going to give relief to the borrowers. He was frank enough at least. He did not say that it is going to give relief to the bankers. And that's what has exactly happened. So the national company law tribunals, which are headed by retired judges and assisted by solvency professionals, who are normally chartered accountants and retired bankers, a brokerage is taking place. They are acting as a broker between the borrower, the buyer of the asset, and the National Company Law Tribunal. So what is happening practically is that the huge loans are given away at a throwaway price to a very rich corporate. One example is Anil Ambani, who was one of the biggest borrowers in this country, who had more than 1 lakh crores outstanding. One of his company, Reliance Infrastructure, was sold to Mukesh Ambani's Reliance, his own elder brother. And the haircut there is 99%. The outstanding was around 46,000 crores. And Mukesh Ambani bought it for 456 crores. It is not even 1% of the amount which was due.
Now, what is the notion of haircuts that we are talking about? Company A takes, say for instance, says that we cannot repay, and it has 100 rupee, it had taken loan from a bank and says we cannot repay. And they go to the insolvency and bankruptcy process, and then it says that we cannot pay, and the longer time it takes to resolve this, my assets are only going to depreciate further, and therefore the value is only going to go down. And so then a company B comes in and says that we can buy the company, we can take on the debt, but we will pay only 20 rupees for it. So you see, that is, and if they have to agree to it, that's a haircut of 80%. Who is bearing that cost? It is the common people who are bearing the cost. Now in that, if we see the combined haircuts of the 12 largest of these companies, of these corporates, the big ticket ones, then actually that's much higher than the allocation for agriculture and farming and farmers welfare and NREGA combined. Mind it that we are the only country among the world's top 10 ultra high net worth nations who actually recorded an increase in its ultra wealthy population as per in 2022, as per the wealth report of 2023. Only country that has seen its rich doing, super rich doing far better. In the last 5 years, the number of people owning 1,000 crores and above have increased by a whooping 76%. So we are seeing achhe din for some people, for sure. But at the cost of whom? When it comes to simply demanding 6% of GDP on health or education and things like that, substantial increase in welfare spending, immediately we are told, oh, this is too much to demand. Hypothetically, if we were to give 3,000 rupees non-contributory pension to everyone, universally, to all the elderly, the exchequer would need to incur 5.36 lakh crore nearly, say about 5 to 5.5 lakh crores. Now compare that with the write-offs, it was about 15 lakh crores. Now in this context, we have gotten rid of the railway concessions also for the elderly, and it never came back after the pandemic. Now that is the situation when we are talking about social sector spending.
Western states, there is a progressive taxation. When the income is going up, the more rich you are, you pay more tax. That is not done in our country. Argentina did it some time back, that they taxed the top 10%. And with that, they could create enough of souls for providing education, healthcare. Same thing can be done in this country, but that is not being done at all.